Imagine this. You get into a terrible car accident. Every breath feels like it could be your last. And just when it seems like the end, help arrives and you're saved at the very last moment. You survived, but survival comes with a price. Because now, something else has noticed you. A mysterious presence is stalking you, determined to finish the job that fate couldn't. And that is the premise of today's analog horror series. Hello gorgeous people, what is going on? And welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going over an analog horror series called The Clockwork Visitant. This analog horror series covers an urban legend that comes from people who should have died, but didn't. I personally loved this series, and I think you guys are gonna love it too. In total, this entire series has 3 episodes and even a game tied to it, all of which we will be covering today. This series was made by the creator SpringTocks, whose link to the channel will be at the top of the description down below. Please be sure to go and support your analog horror content creators. But alright guys, that's enough of me yapping. Let's jump right in. The Clockwork Visitant, Part 1. Western Front, 1916, World War I. A soldier on the battlefield, wounded. Yeah, that's creepy. Ironbrook Art Gallery, 1989.
We have a rather peculiar piece painted by an Australian soldier during the First World War, Thomas Leawood. This piece could be interpreted as a surrealist meditation of Thomas's near-death experience in no man's land on the Western Front. However, Thomas asserts that the silhouetted figure we see here remains frightfully real. The twisted visage observed him for 5 long minutes before help finally arrived. It never moved, not so much as flinched amidst the horrors and human decay surrounding it. It only made a distinct ticking noise in the distance before it faded away into nothingness, seemingly never there.
Okay, we're gonna pause right there. Loving the style so far. This shot looks awesome. This is sick. I don't even know how they did this exactly. Usually whenever I'm watching an analog horror video, I try to think like, you know, how did they make that exact shot? Like, Obviously, sometimes it's animated, sometimes it's practical. I don't know how exactly this one was done, because this dirt here looks real, but the rest of this is kind of hard to tell how it was done. But either way, looks really creepy. The idea of you're already in what is probably one of the most like frightening scenarios ever. Like you're on the battlefield in the middle of war, injured, and apparently near death, as Barbara, I believe that was her name, as she said. And then you turn to your left and you see this thing that I guess you could assume is a human right off the bat, and it's just standing there watching you. As there's a war going on, you know, everybody's either running to fight in the war or I guess running away. And this thing's just standing there, not moving for 5 minutes, just staring at you while you're injured. I can imagine that's an insane feeling. And the fact that this transition to the artwork is also awesome, that's sick. Awesome transition. What I'm getting off this just immediately is he was near death, he's injured, and he's just lying there, maybe about to die, and then for 5 minutes he sees this thing, and then help comes. Is this like death coming to take him, maybe? Like you're about to die, this thing's just watching you, clearly otherworldly, but then you survive. So it goes away, maybe. You get what I'm saying? Kind of like death coming, like, all right, your time is up. Your time is up, ticking noise? It is called the Clockwork Visitant. We'll just have to keep going and see. The Leewoods House, 1919. So this is the guy that survived. Damn, and he painted that already? Okay. Incredible painting.
Good night, Thomas.
Good night, Mom.
Taking in the clock in the background. Whoa, wait. The time on the clock here, hold on, let's run it back. The time here was like 10:15, and the time here stops at 10:15, or 10:14, 10:14, 10:15. So that's interesting. Thomas's mother found his body severely decomposed the next morning. Forensics were unable to explain the state of decomposition in less than 12 hours. The earliest record of a similar incident was traced by English historian Catherine Berry to a woodcut artwork discovered in 1983. The woodcut depicted a distinctive clockwork figure eerily similar to Thomas Leawood's painting centuries earlier in the 1600s. I mean, yeah, that's similar. The woodcut was discovered in an abandoned cottage in England, a site historically associated with witchcraft. Catherine later donated the woodcut to the Ironbrook Art Gallery for a curated 1989 exhibition on the unexplained. The most recent, hold on. Alright, before we move on, because we're getting a lot of information. Same soldier that survived, 3 years later, 1919. The clock stops at the same time. The creature forms behind him from the clock that he has on his wall and seems to just kill him instantly. and his body is extremely decomposed and literally unexplainable how that could have happened in less than 12 hours. So what I'm getting from that is that it's almost like a Final Destination scenario where you were supposed to die, you didn't, and now this thing comes to make sure that you are dead. I wonder if the time matters though, because clearly Thomas here was supposed to die in 1916 in no man's land on the war front. But then 3 years later, this thing comes and visits him and kills him. And maybe that's why his body is so decomposed. Maybe that's how decomposed he would be after 3 years. I don't know about body decomposition that much, so let me know in the comments down below if I'm right or wrong about that. But it seems like it almost like corrected things in a way. You were supposed to die, you didn't, I'm coming to kill you, and putting your body exactly how it should be right now. Then we learn that the earliest similar incident to this was traced by English historian Catherine Berry to a woodcut artwork that was discovered in 1983, which is this picture here, which is apparently made in like the 1600s. So this thing has been around for hundreds of years already. Also interesting that it was discovered in a site historically associated with witchcraft. Not sure if that has to do with the origin of the creature or not, or if it just has to do with that specific incident. Because if this thing is coming around correcting people's deaths in a way, maybe it was correcting the death of whoever created that woodcut. And then funny enough, it was also donated to the Ironbrook Art Gallery, which Thomas Leawood's art was also at. Sorry for pausing again and even sometimes just rereading what we just heard. It's sometimes just a lot of information and I would like to just re-say it to you guys, but also re-say it to myself so that I could just remember it and try to absorb it a bit more. But now we'll continue the video. Okay. The most recent record related to this elusive figure was the 2005 discovery of Reuben Hill's decomposed body in his backyard. Reuben was known to police after a recent drunk driving accident in which he was lucky to escape with his life. Investigators found a discarded camcorder beside his remains. Okay. Let's see the footage. January 30th, 2005. Hold on. What was that time? Okay, so the time remained the same, it just glitched. You could hear the ticking. Oh, hell no. Okay. And it's gone. I'm not gonna lie, I would have appreciated maybe a better jump scare at the end there, but that's just me being critical of it. I like that we're seeing it across different time periods. Like, we're making it known this thing exists and it's been operating for hundreds of years. Doesn't matter the scenario, whether you were supposed to die in war, whether you were supposed to die in a drunk driving incident, this thing is coming to get you and it kills instantly. I mean, as you saw there, like, it was watching him from the window and then it literally just got close to him and boom, done, dead, instantly decomposed. I think that would creep anybody out if you looked out your window at night and you saw this. Not too much that I have to say yet about the story. I'm not sure how this is going to continue or where this is going to go next. Maybe we're just going to learn more about this creature and about its origin. I don't know how you would necessarily stop something like this. It's such an interesting concept, like playing death, and obviously referring back again to Final Destination, you know, whenever you try to play death or skip over death, it will come to get you at some point in one way or another. And it's cool that this is like Final Destination, but as a horror creature in itself, not just like crazy ways of being killed. And I like the concept of that a lot, and I like that it's been around for so long. But let's immediately jump into the next one, because I'm excited to see more. Here we go. The Clockwork Visitant, Part 2. Oh my god. Wait. I was trying to wait for the top thing to disappear. My goodness. Alright. Wow. Oh, those hands. Yeah, instantly just rotted. Done. Still in his clothes. And then just like that, it's gone once the job is done. So that was continuing right in the backyard of Reuben Hill. The following dash cam footage captures Reuben Hill's drinking and driving accident. By the way, I don't think I need to say this, or maybe I do. Obviously, don't drink and drive. You know what I mean? If you're gonna drink, leave your keys at home, or just get rid of your keys. Don't ever think about doing it. Never worth the risk. Here you go, 8:07 p.m. A minute before it shows up later.
Guess I woke up today and just chose chaos. I think I've had you.
Oh my. Okay. Pause right there. I need to check something real quick in the last video. So in the last video, the creature, the Clockwork Visitant, comes to Reuben Hill on January 30th, 2005 at 20:08. And he was initially supposed to die at 8:08 p.m. July 30th, 2004. So the time is the same, but the date is 6 months after. So he was supposed to die, and then 6 months after, he actually dies. As opposed to Thomas Lee's incident, where he survived another 3 years. So I wonder what the difference is there. Why this guy only survived 6 more months, and Thomas Lee survived 3 more years. But again, very cool to see that the Clockwork Visitant comes and sees you when you're supposed to die, and then it seems that if you somehow survive, he just comes back later. The Ironbrook Times. Teenage girl dead after drinking and driving accident. Okay, so he killed the person that he got into an accident with. Reuben Hill served a short term in prison. He was granted bail leading up to his February trial. The following footage was found on Reuben's camera after his death. December 30th, 2004.
I don't usually do this sort of thing, but if I didn't film it, no one would believe me. Ever since the crash, there's been nights where there's this ticking noise. This thing just appears. Not just me. Looks like a person, but sounds fucking crazy if I said it. I took someone's life. I don't know if this thing has something to do with it, but I just want it to be over.
That's an interesting point, the fact that he did take someone's life by drinking and driving. And I imagine that Thomas Lee Wood also killed people during the war. So is that related to it somehow? Like if you kill people and then you're supposed to die but you somehow survive, the Clockwork Visitant, nah, you can't take lives and then still deserve yours. Is it something like that? Because that seems to be a common thing between the two of them. And also, this footage was recorded on 1902, December 30th, 2004. So a month before he dies. And he says that he did serve time in prison, but he was granted bail, so he was released for a little bit. But he says that he's been hearing this thing constantly. So it's not just the prison that stopped it. Unless maybe it didn't kill him in prison because he's serving time for actually killing somebody. Like, he's being punished because he killed somebody. But then he gets out, he gets granted bail, and the Clockwork Visitant's like, yeah, no. You're not gonna be out in the world free for any amount of time after killing somebody. Maybe it's something like that. Also, let's just go back to this newspaper here. I want to read it again just to see if we missed anything. The Ironbrook Times in New South Wales. Maybe it's a specific location thing. Like it only operates around here. The quiet town of Ironbrook. Tragedy in Ironbrook is promising life cut short by reckless driver. Where news breaks, whatever it takes, watch us work for you. Okay, so now I'm thinking, sorry, I keep developing these thoughts just as we're going. The Clockwork Visitant might operate just in Ironbrook. And whenever someone kills someone and then is supposed to die, but they don't die, this thing comes and finishes them off. As long as they're not being punished for what they did. So like Ruben was in jail, so he was being punished for killing somebody. But then the fact that he got out, the Clockwork Visitant came and finished him off right away. But then why would Thomas Leawood have survived another 3 years? I mean, World War I, which he was fighting in, ends at the end of 1918, I believe. So maybe Thomas Leawood recovers on the battlefield, continues, you know, going to war and killing people. And then right after he finishes war and comes home, the Clockwork Visitant comes and ends him off instantly. That could be why? Let's keep watching. Okay. So this is the same night. At the time he was supposed to die. And he knows it's coming. Ooh! Dude, that actually like jump scared me. Okay, wait, why does this say January 20th though? And I'm pretty sure, am I bugging? Interesting. I'm pretty sure this is Thomas Leawood, and then it changes to the clock. But then why does it say January 20th?
Mass hysteria continues to grow worldwide as Reuben Hill's haunting death sparks intense public debate. Footage captured moments before Reuben's death allegedly shows his assailant appearing meters closer to him before the assault, leading many to speculate that the footage is doctored. While police remain tight-lipped on the validity of the video, comparisons have been made to an urban legend, matching the assailant's appearance.
That's an interesting thing to do with it too, to make it go like on the news like that, so more people become aware. I just don't understand why it said January 20th instead of 30th. Because if he was recording it on December 30th and then like the camera glitched to January 30th, that would be like, you know, like it's predicting his death. It already knows exactly when it's gonna kill him. But why January 20th? Unless that's a mistake. Like unless it's like a typo maybe. Dude, this is awesome. This is so cool. I'm loving this right now. The quality is top tier. I can't even tell if some pieces seem like animation and then some seems like it's actually shot on camera. That shot in the hallway though, that was the jump scare that I was talking about. Like obviously he peeks around the hallway, the ticking stops, and then you're like, all right, the clock. Boom. Like that's cool. I like that. I like that. And I like that it's real. Like this is like a legit costume with a clock. Like that's sick. So I'm absolutely loving this so far, and we only have one part left, which is honestly sad to see because I want a lot more of this. But let's jump into the final video. The Clockwork Visitant, Part 3.
Have you heard of the Clockwork Visitant?
Yeah, that thing that happened earlier this year? Yep.
Yeah, I have. Yes, I have. Actually, the whole town knows about it.
It's been all over the news.
And do you think it's real?
Nah, mate, no.
Yeah, I don't see why it can't be real.
Oh, I reckon so. Well, I think he is. I think he is.
I'm already just gonna take a look at this here. So this was posted by the Ironbrook Insider. I see a website for ironbrookinsider.com. There's no way, right? No, it's not real. Damn it. Had to check anyway. Had to check anyway. It seems like this has gone viral though, since it was on the news and I guess Ruben's video leaked. Like we have the Ruben Hill incident, Clockwork Visitant sightings, top 10 creepiest urban legends, I'm sure that says, and obviously interviewing the townspeople and asking what they think.
Well, I think he is. I think he is.
Catherine Berry
In all my years
investigates the
exploring
Clockwork
hidden depths of
incident.
Human history. No story has gripped the public imagination quite like that of the Clockwork Visitant. Building upon the work of art curator Barbara Nightingale from her 1989 exhibition, The Unexplained, new historical records emerged, revealing disturbing patterns. In haunting artworks from the 14th century, depicting the horror of the bubonic plague, and again in the 17th century during the Salem witch trials, a shadowy figure appears in the background. A tall, suited entity with a featureless, clock-like face. Could this be a mere coincidence? Or has the Clockwork Visitant been silently watching, waiting for centuries? While there is no definitive proof of its existence.
Are we sure about that? No definitive proof? There's literally video footage of it. But I guess people don't believe that it's real.
The consistency of the descriptions over time is what gives the legend its unnerving weight. Different people, in different places, speak of seeing the same figure. Its ticking reminds us that every second we hold is borrowed, fragile, and easily lost. The small things in life, once dismissed or overlooked, become precious. Most who've seen the Visitant spoke of a newfound urgency to live authentically, to chase what truly matters and make amends before their time was up. Perhaps the Clockwork Visitant teaches us an undeniable truth. Time isn't guaranteed for any of us, but how we choose to fill it with meaning and connection is entirely in our hands.
I really like that. The Clockwork Visitant will return. In the official game coming soon. So honestly, that is an incredibly touching way to end it on such a chilling creature. Like, you know, time isn't guaranteed for any of us, but it's about how we choose to use the time that we do have that's actually important. And as you saw there at the end, I didn't talk about it yet, but there is a game that ties into this series, and it's on itch.io, and I have downloaded it, so we're gonna play it. It's not too long, but we're gonna go through it to see if we could get any more history on the Clockwork Visitant or learn anything else about it. But before we do that, I just want to touch on the history of the Visitant. Like, this thing has been around since the 14th century. You could see it here in the background. Absolutely nuts. Is there some kind of incident that created this? Is this just something that follows humans throughout history? Because, you know, sometimes people survive their death and they really do need to die, so this thing comes and finishes them off. It makes me wonder if maybe my theory about, you know, if you kill people or hurt people, this thing will still come to get you if you somehow survive death. I want to play the game now because I feel like the game could either give us more answers or give us more questions. I again, like, I have a lot of like closing thoughts, but you know what? Let's get into the game. Okay, I lied. Quick note before we move on to the game. So I was looking through the comments here under the last video in the series, and I'll show the comments here on screen, but MoodyMan4231 comments, oh, so the unexplained section isn't about other unexplainable monsters, it's only about the clockwork. And SpringTocks, the creator, replies, It contains other unexplained legends, but we are only focusing on the Clockwork Visitant in this case. I just wanted to hint at some more stories. By the way, that comment is referring to the unexplained exhibition that is held in 1989, showing the artwork, the original one that we saw. So that brings up an interesting point because I actually did notice something in part 1. So if you go back here, at one point the camera pans out and you see some kind of other creature that seems to have these arms and people are kind of moving away from it. And there's a few more other pictures here. And even though that we know at least 2 of the pictures in this exhibition show the clockwork incident, this one doesn't seem to. I mean, yeah, this thing has a round head, but it really is just like a humanoid body with some like long tendril-like arms. So this could just be a whole nother creature, which means that SpringTalk could be working on, you know, more creatures that take place in the same world that he's created here that involves the Clockwork Visitant, which again doesn't directly connect to anything that we're talking about right now, but I just thought it was a cool thing that SpringTalk could be preparing for more creatures ahead of time. So really cool thing. All right, now let's jump into the game. The Clockwork Visitant, the game. SpringTalk. Here we go. No last dev. Epilepsy warning. This game contains flashing lights, rapid screen effects, and visual changes. Alright. Sick menu already. Alright. Let's jump in. Let's see if we could learn any more about the Clockwork Visitant. Are we gonna rewatch the first video right here?
Minds fraying, spirits torn. Rifles trembled in blooded hands. Thomas stood by his mates, dread choking them by the throat, as they waited for the whistle to blow.
Oh, we're getting animation this time.
Thomas reached for his mother's fob watch, clinging to the closest thing to home. He was ready to slip into death's hand. That's when he saw it. Standing in the distance, a lone figure. Human in shape, but wrong in every other way. After 5 long minutes, the figure had vanished as Thomas was dragged to safety. Thomas would lay in the trenches, never truly at rest. But when sleep finally found Thomas, it would take him far from the war.
Okay, hello. Loving the graphic style. Damn, I'm just praising all day today right now. So this is Thomas's story. And this is when he fell asleep on the battlefield as he was dying. Hello. I miss this. It's beautiful, isn't it? It is. I wish my mates could have seen this. It just feels wrong. Me sitting here while they're... You don't get to choose who goes and who stays. And Tommy, none of you did. Doesn't make it any easier. I understand, but you survived, so live for them now. That's the only thing left that makes any sense. I wish I could stay here, just sit a little longer. Me too, Tommy. But we both know you can't. We both know it's coming. What's coming? Oh! Hello! I saw you instantly, bro! The drunk driving incident. Reuben Hill. does that say? Hey, hold on. I can't read it. Can I get in? No. I can't read what that says. Oh. It's a liquor bottle. Serrano. What's this? A hanging body? To whom finds this, I am not the devil's hand, nor have I danced with spirits as they claim. May God see the truth, though man has turned his face. Mercy Nightingale. Salem, 1692. That name is interesting, considering that Barbara Nightingale created the unexplainable exhibition. Another letter. Dear Mother, I wish I never saw that poster to enlist. There's no glory here, only mud, cold, and death. I want to come home. Your son, William. Okay, so if we continue to the war, it looks like we have some platforming. But if we do home, there's just nothing but clocks. Which I guess is showing us that if we go home, we're just on a time limit. Alright, to the war it is. Hello there. Oh, my watch! Press the left mouse button to freeze time. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we get to freeze time for a few seconds. Why is that? Oh, because these things are... They're dropping. Okay, they're dropping. And I'm dead already. Alright. I see why freezing time will help right now. By the way, there is a timer behind my webcam, but it just shows the amount of time we have to freeze. So we got 10 seconds. Let's do it. Somehow I'm still almost failing these. Alright. And we're good. Okay. Gotta keep on the lookout. Don't know if there might be any secrets anywhere. And... perfect. Made it just in time. Okay, we got a telephone booth here. Time is running out. Be there or beware. Enlist now. Propaganda poster. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't fall. Okay. Time is up. But we're good. We are good. We made it. Okay. See a lot of nothing. But we do have a clock here. Hello. I want to say we're gonna have to move it to 10:15. Yep. That's cool. Oh, now we're in the trenches. Oh, this is a much creepier vibe now. Tick tock, 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 tick tock. Damn. I mean, I like the app too, but All right. Okay, all right. Yep, we're running. We're running. We're running. We're running. How close is it? Okay, he's right behind me. Okay, do not stop. Do not stop. Do not stop. Oh, that's the exit. Oh, God. How close is he? Okay, he's right there.
Thomas woke from the nightmare. He never spoke of the strange things he saw. When the war ended, Thomas returned home, forever changed. The horrors buried in his mind bled onto canvas as he began to paint. Not for comfort, not for joy. He painted because there was no other way to make sense of it.
Oh my God. We're in the room. It's really cool to see, like, go from an analog horror series to where you're watching it and seeing all these environments and then actually playing a game in them. Damn, we got quite a few clocks in the room. It's interesting. Alright, let's get to painting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is exactly how you paint in real life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Alright, do some touches there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And finished. Go to bed. Alright. Oh. Mom? Oh, Mom, hi. I'm going to bed. Hope you get some rest tonight. I hope so. Good night, Thomas. Good night, Mom. Yeah, the traumas of war, man. Especially after seeing the Clockwork Visitant, I can't imagine you wouldn't have trouble sleeping. And we're hearing the ticking. It stopped at 10:15. Ah! Oh, Jesus! Oh my God, that was so quick. I saw him forming under the clock, but I didn't think it would be instant.
Morning, Thomas's mother found him in his bedroom. His body was cold, rotted, as though he'd been dead for years. However, Thomas's story would not end there. 70 years later, his painting was rediscovered during the demolition of an old Leewood estate. The painting became the centerpiece for an acclaimed art exhibition, The Unexplained, highlighting artworks that explored stories lost to time. To some, Thomas's painting is a personal portrait of trauma and guilt. To others, a vision of death made real. But many believe it carries a deeper message about what it means to live on borrowed time. If fate grants you a second chance only because another was denied theirs, can it ever truly be yours?
Interesting. Granted another chance because someone was denied theirs. So is that time truly yours? Well, there you go. I feel like then that would be the meaning of it. Is that I was somewhat right about, like, it's like you're killing someone and taking the time that should have been theirs for yourself, but then the Clockwork Visitant comes and takes you anyway. Because that time truly isn't yours. You took it from someone else. That's really interesting. And a really well thought out concept for a creature. Okay, So a few things I want to go over just before we entirely close out on everything. Going through my footage here of the game, and this letter really stands out to me. To whom finds this, I am not the devil's hand, nor have I danced with spirits as they claim. May God see the truth, though man has turned his face. From Mercy Nightingale, Salem, 1692. So this is related to the Salem witch trials, where people thought that some women were witches and they were hung. This seems to be written by one of the people that was believed to be a witch. And in this note, they say that they are not, that they are not the devil's hand, nor have they danced with spirits as they claim. May God see the truth. So you read this, and obviously there's the Nightingale name, which we'll talk about in a minute. Right after that, we see a soldier here where it says they wrote a letter to their mother saying, "Dear mother, I wish I never saw that poster to enlist. There's no glory here, only mud, cold, and death. I want to come home." What I'm thinking this is people that were killed and whose time was stolen when it wasn't supposed to be. For example, when Ruben gets into the drunk driving accident with that other girl, he stole her time. He survived when he shouldn't have, and that girl didn't. So the time that she should have had to live the rest of her life if Ruben didn't exist was stolen from her and given to Ruben, and he continued to live on. Then the Clockwork Visitant comes, sees that you stole that time, and is like, no, you're dying anyway. I think that is the same thing for this Salem witch and for this dead soldier. Maybe this dead soldier is one of the soldiers that Thomas Leewood killed, and he stole his time. Thomas Leewood was also supposed to die, but miraculously survived due to being rescued on the battlefield, but he stole that other soldier's time that he killed. So that's the reason the Clockwork Visitant came to him. Maybe that Salem witch, she wasn't a witch, she was supposed to continue living a life, but she was killed early, her time was stolen from her by whoever hung her, and the Clockwork Visitant probably came and haunted that same person as well, the person who hung her and stole her time. So overall, the way that I'm seeing things is that is the whole purpose of the Clockwork Visitant. If you kill someone ahead of when they're supposed to die through some kind of accident, deliberately killing them, murdering them, anything like that, you have stolen their time. And then the Clockwork Visitant will come and basically take that time back by ending you right then and there. It may take some time, it seems. Maybe it takes 6 months, maybe it takes 3 years. Maybe the time thing could have to do with how long that person had left to live that you stole the time from. And this is like a rough theory, but say the person that Ruben got into a drunk driving accident, right? That girl. If she had 6 months more left to live, regardless of Ruben, whatever he did to her, maybe that's why the Clockwork Visitant came after 6 months to kill Ruben. Maybe that has something to do with it, like the remaining time of the person whose time was stolen. Or maybe the Clockwork Visitant just takes some time sometimes. Maybe he could take up to 3 years, maybe not. I'm a bit rough on that one, on why he waits so long sometimes and sometimes so short. But the best way that's described is at the end of the game. If fate grants you a second chance only because another was denied theirs, can it ever truly be yours? And the truth is no, it's not yours. Try not to kill anybody, try not to steal anybody's time in any way, and live the most with the time that you have given to you. Now, I do think it's very interesting that the curator of the Unexplainable art exhibition in 1989 is Barbara Nightingale, and then we see that other Nightingale name of someone that was killed during the Salem witch trials. Is that just a coincidence? No, I definitely don't think it is. But does it have to do with the origin of the creature in some way? Is there something directly related to it? Maybe that's how Barbara Nightingale even knew about the Clockwork Visitant. Maybe she knew it actually existed before even putting on the event. That's a little rough. Either way, I think the Analog Horror series is incredible. It is an amazing 3 parts. The way it shows everything, the style of it is incredible. I think the game does a great job in adding on to that and almost like wrapping it up in a way as well. But what's important to me is that you guys know this. In the actual game page, which I will leave linked in the description down below in case you want to try the game for yourself, there's a creator note that says, it's designed as both a short horror experience and proof of concept. The Clockwork Visitant hints at a larger vision of expanding the story and mechanics into a full horror game. I think we need to go and support this as much as possible. This series that we watched here today was created by SpringTocks, whose link to the channel will be left at the top of the description down below. Please, please, please be sure to go and support your analog horror content creators. I cannot express how ridiculously underrated this is. Part 1 has 7.8k, part 2 has 2.3k, and part 3 has 1.7k. And for the amount of work and love that went into this deserves so much more. I don't know how many downloads the game has, but that also deserves a ton more. So if you guys could please go over to SpringTocks Channel, show some love to these videos if you enjoyed them, and even download the game for yourself, which I'll leave in the link in the description down below. The game is totally free and it is safe to download. I downloaded it, I've played it, it's been great. Please, you could go and download the game for yourself. Maybe you'll find some stuff that I wasn't able to find. I tried to explore the environments fully, but maybe I did miss stuff. And even in the actual analog horror videos, if you go and watch them for yourself, you might also find things that I missed. So please, go to SpringTocks Channel, go and watch these videos for yourself again, like them, comment and show support, download the game for yourself, comment on Itch.io and show support, because I would love to see the Clockwork Visitant expanded into maybe a longer series of analog horror, into a longer horror game. Either of those I would be absolutely happy with. And if that doesn't happen for the Clockwork Visitant, I still think SpringTalk needs a ton of more support, a ton more subscribers, because this work is incredible. SpringTalk also, I'm seeing here, has other analog horror series on their channel, like the Mannequin Tapes and Chimpy Chippas, which I actually played Chimpy Chippa's game like years ago, and I found out much later after that it was connected to like a horror series. So maybe at some point I could go over that horror game again and go over the Chimpy Chippa tapes and the Mannequin Tapes. But first, you guys gotta go and show support to SpringTalk. Please. I want to see this expanded. I want to see more work like this, because this is so nice and so good for the analog horror genre. It's an original creature with a meaningful backstory to it, and it's just so cool. It is so cool. So like I said, the links to the game, the links to the analog horror series, and the links to SpringTocks Channel will be at the top of the description down below. Please, please, please go and support. But otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I'm so happy that I discovered something like this, because it is truly incredible. If you guys did enjoy this video, please don't forget to drop a like on it down below. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to hit 1.5 million subscribers. And lastly, if you guys want to see other videos from me that are not horror related, be sure to check out my second channel, Project Immortal, which will be linked in the description down below as well. And all right, guys, this was a great I enjoyed this video so much, man. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.